quite 5:30. I can definitely tell it's getting later in the year. Usually by 5:30 it's pretty bright, but anyway. Sketchy bridge, I'll be walking across here in just a minute. Not sure how far I'm going to go. There is a lake called Dorothy Lake, one of the first lakes in the Sierra going southbound that I intend to visit. It's only 5-something miles from here, but at least I'll go see her. May jump in, we'll see. That is my goal, to try to jump in as many of the lakes as I can. It is already beautiful here, I can tell. So, alright, let's see what we can see today. It's a beautiful Walker River. Survived sketchy bridge. Felt stable. The sun's coming up right over there. Looks like we're kind of heading towards it. My favorite time of day. Starting to light up the peaks. Well, hopefully, with our direction, we'll be able to see a little bit of the sunrise. Not a bad first sunrise here. Beautiful. Reached the first creek crossing. Lots of pretty ponds and lakes and streams I'm passing, and I have bug spray on. Mosquitoes, if you stop for just a second or slow your pace, they're all over you. I'm only 2.5 from Dorothy Lake Pass. This will be my first official pass of the Sierra. Well, let's just hope I can get across here without falling in. Pretty. No problem. Talked a little bit about the transition between what the Sierras are and the mountains beyond that, the ones I just came out of. This is a pretty good, clear example of that. You have all the granite and stuff, and then all those mountains back there have a more soil type texture and a lot of screedier rock. Within a half a mile of the pass, Dorothy Lake Pass, all kinds of lakes, ponds, creeks, Oh, this is pretty exciting. I think I'm about to cry. You can believe this. Yosemite. Made it. Dorothy Bass. Dorothy Lake. Wow. This is the first lake. This is Dorothy Lake. I've entered the Yosemite, and there's a challenge to swim in every lake where there's an icon of a duck. So this is the first one. I'm going to try the challenge because whatever excuse I can come up with to swim, I'm going to. Definitely 10 out of 10 for Dorothy Lake. Let's go ahead and set some parameters on what we're going to rate these lakes as. So 1 would be water clarity. Beautiful. Water temperature is good. The bottom sometimes can be a little mucky. This one was good. And yeah, I think that's the 3 that we're going to go with. Oh, mosquitoes. Mosquito just flew in my ear. And mosquitoes. But where I was just swimming, it was definitely a 10 out of 10. No mosquitoes. Water clarity. The bottom, get out of my ear. The bottom was good. And the temperature was wonderful. Down here at the south end of Dorothy Lake, and looking up at this mountain, it looks like a geothermal on the side of it. Right there. Very beautiful lake. Walking in this very beautiful meadow. Slow meandering creek. Not sure what happened to the mosquitoes. Decided to stop and get a little bit of an early lunch, especially taking advantage of no mosquitoes. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing. Wow. I just got my permit checked by 2 rangers. Got the lowdown on all the rules as far as where I can stay, if I can stay. So the Tuolumne Meadows post office had closed for some time, and while that was closed, you could stay one night at the backpackers campground in Yosemite. And now it's open, so now you have an option to ship a resupply package there. So that kind of does away with your privilege to, or excuse to, stay in Yosemite Valley. So the options are, you can go into Yosemite, resupply, and come back out. And once you get back to the trail, you have to hike like 4 more miles because you can't camp near this meadow, Tuolumne Meadows, within 4 miles because of restoration and stuff. But he explained to me that the backpackers campground is basically for people that are backpacking inside Yosemite that have a permit for it or on the JMT, and it's specifically for them. But whenever you throw a bunch of PCT hikers in on top of that, it beats down the resource. So the other option is I can get a permit. Well, there's a few options. I can get a day permit, and I would have to get the permit. Then I would have to hike back out, hike in on a different trail to get back and stay. Or I can make a reservation within the park for lodging. He said in Curry Village there are like yurts and stuff, and you can sometimes find those reservations have been canceled, so they may have some openings. They're about $150, but it means that I wouldn't have to like camp real close. I could just walk in, get to Curry Village where there's a lot of food and stuff, and there's a shower, and have a place to stay, and then take my time getting back out of the park, which is what I may try to do. I think I get there on a Sunday. He says there's self-service at Tuolumne Meadows, so when I get there, I'll check. Doing my first little ford here. Water is so clear. I found a way across without having to take his shoes off. So this is Wilmer Lake. Beautiful. Alright, Wilmer Lake. Couldn't do the review while I was down there. There were people there. Didn't want to disturb them. Anyway, I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for Wilmer Lake. The bottom was really super gross. A lot of grass and stuff, you can kind of see it there. Grew up all around the edges, so no real clean getting in, getting out. There were a lot of fish in there, a lot of trout I saw jumping, and a lot of dragonflies. So there weren't any mosquitoes, but there were several biting flies. Steepish climb. Kind of reminds me of New Hampshire. Wow. Pretty views. Almost to the top. Whew. Finally got some switchbacks, but very steep. Thought I was on the downhill, but then I looked at the top on it. I have this little blip up and back down. Choop, 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 doop. And I'm already come up some. Oh well. That is a marmot. He's right here in front of me. I'm about 1.5 miles from camp. This must be Stubblefield Canyon because that's where I am staying. Still got a ways down. 1.5 miles to camp. Well, another ford. This one's up to my knees. It's pretty. There's a lot of fish in here. Kind of refreshing. This is the end of the day. Alright. That's done. Now I gotta find a campsite. Did like 20 miles today. Tomorrow is gonna be a pretty tough day. I mean, it looks that way on far out, so decided to do the 4 extra miles today to take the pressure off tomorrow. So at least I can get to the camp I had designated for tomorrow, and that will keep me on track getting into Yosemite Valley. You know, like I said before, I kind of want to stay in Yosemite Valley, and I've been thinking about that all day. If I can get a reservation for $150 a night, I could take, you know, my 00 there in Yosemite and get out and see a few things versus taking a 00 in Mammoth that I had planned and pay the same money. Worst case scenario, I could stay in Camp 4 if there's room for one night, and maybe possibly get the yurt or whatever they have available. So anyway, we'll see. Mosquitoes are bad here, and I have bug spray on. So I'm over here in this clearing trying to send my message for making camp. My tent all set up. And this deer is like following me around. I see you. Definitely don't want to leave anything outside, like if you left your trekking poles or anything outside that had salt on it, she'd probably eat it. Alright, hopefully this message will send. Pretty clear view of the sky. Alright, I'm going to go collect some water while it's on this. Maybe she'll leave it alone if I set it down. Hopefully.